Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 9, Episode 3, and today we're back as promised for a game against Southampton, a big one in the Championship. Southampton, one of the favourites for promotion after Premier League relegation last year, and us clinging on at the top of the league, but just starting to find some inconsistency. So you can see that we're up there with Watford. Watford joint top with us on 34 points, of course the side we drew against in Episode 1 this season. Millwall not far behind, Charlton not far behind, and Palace also not far behind. It's very tight. They're then closely followed by the likes of Birmingham, Southampton and Brighton, and a couple of other teams in the shout that we've had terrible results against. So we'll go and have a look at all that in a moment and play the big game against Southampton, and of course update you on our progress too. But before I go and do that, a massive thank you to everyone who's followed this season and this series so far. I really do appreciate it greatly. If you are enjoying it and looking forward to today's episode, please put a thumbs up on the video. It does make such a difference. And if you've missed any of the season so far, that's in the eye above, as well as the transfer special live stream that we did about a week or so ago. There's also playlist links up there to the latest episodes of the new series, and of course the playlist to ones that have just started. That includes our 2 Sunday series, the FM20 Network Career, and of course the Stadium Review Series 2. Thank you so much to everyone who's got on board with those. And in our Dorking Wanderer story as well, there's a link to the start of the latest season, which has been a very exciting one so far. So make sure you come and join us for the climax of that this week on the channel. But so far things are looking good in both series and I'm having a great time. We had a little wobble halfway through, but things are back on form now. We're top of the league with Burnley, and with a result today we could put ourselves in good promotion contention. So if you haven't already, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as all the new episodes release on the channel, so you don't miss a moment in this promotion push. But let's have a look at what's happened so far, especially since the last episode. You're with me as we played against our former club Charlton, the only one that sacked us in the series so far. It was a sea of defensive errors from both sides, and Orellana's screamer getting us a point in the end. And since then, we've been okay. We've just had a couple of disappointing days. So a defeat away at West Brom in the Carabao Cup. We started awfully. Leon Lowry got himself a goal again, the youngster having a great season, but it wasn't enough to get us on board. Swansea at home we won 2-0. Sunday Balogun again and Fran Belhalba scoring a goal. Away at Salford, another former club. Held away against a relegation threatened side. And it got to us a little bit, this one. James Lee, one of the final signings from Chris Casper before we left the club, cancelled out Eric Palmer's first for our club as well. Unfortunately, he's since picked up a knock as well. We won 4-0 at the start of October at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Balogun with a brace, Lowry again with one off the bench, and Belhalba again continuing his good run. Then a 2-0 win away against AFC Wimbledon. Balogun and Rob Coleman this time getting the goals. You can see that's where Palmer Brown got his knock after Rob Simpson had already gone out injured. Then a draw at home to Crystal Palace. Rob Coleman back again. Palmer Brown played again, got injured again. But Coleman got us the point, and it was a decent result against the side right up there. Before a 2-0 win at Brighton, Balogun and Higgins were second half goals. Then came the problem. We went away to Nottingham Forest, which was one of the games I did threaten I might show you in this episode. I had to choose between Forest and Southampton, and as Southampton were higher in the league, I went for them. And it's a good job as well, because I think I might have unravelled in that episode. Because 5-1 we lost at Nottingham Forest, out of nowhere. I mean, we'd conceded 1 goal in 6 games before that. 2 goals in 6, sorry. Never more than 1 in a game, and we'd scored 1 or more in every game. And in that one, we just looked all at sea. I mean, Rob Simpson came back in, got the goal, but was otherwise average. And they weren't particularly bad. You can see the ratings there. They're mid-6s. They're not great, but they're certainly not 5-1 defeat level. So it just seemed to be a weird combination of events. I mean, if I take you through to the match stats, it becomes even more surprising, really. Forest had enough shots, but they weren't clearly dominant. I mean, they just about had the better of the shots. They just about had the worst of possession and 2 clear-cut chances apiece. So it just shows that they were really clinical on the day. Josh Maja and Diaby up front caused all sorts of problems. And unfortunately, we got battered as a result. But we did bounce back just before the international break. Sunday Balogun with a hat-trick. Absolute superstar. He is getting the goals on board. And I believe he is still the top scorer in the Championship. He is, and he's well clear on 14 goals. Jamie Higgins with 9 assists. He's top of that one. Has been camera shy this season so far, though. So hopefully he can put that right today. But it's a big game against Southampton. I mean, we say it's 1st v 7th. It doesn't look particularly close. But if Southampton win that, they go within 6 points of us. And suddenly that's a title race again. Watford are rivals at the top. They're away to Luton. Oh, what I would give to be at that game as a Luton fan. The big rivalry, Luton v Watford on TV. I'm going to be supporting the Hatters as always. And then Millwall and Charlton just behind us. Millwall with a tough game away at mid-table Brentford. And in Charlton, they're at home to Fulham, who have been struggling at the bottom end for a couple of years now. So that one might be a bit harder for us. But either way, we've got to focus on ourselves. If we keep winning, we'll be up in this top two. And we'll be on our course to take Burnley back to the Premier League. I guess the main thing as we head into this one is just how much the youngsters are contributing and just how many little injuries we're starting to pick up. But Leon Lowry now 5 goals this season, 3 in the Championship off the bench, 2 in the Carabao Cup from the start. Andy May popped up with a couple, he's just coming back to fitness now as well. Got his one on the start of the Championship season, also popped up with an assist now as well. I mean, it's all starting to look very good, they're all improving. Jack Vaughan's just had a tougher spell, had a little knock as well, but still 2 goals and an assist for him already this year. There's lots of progress already. Players like Callum Bonner haven't featured as much, they're a bit younger at 17, but look how much he's improving. His attributes constantly going up, he's training brilliantly. Everything going well there, the same for Steve Hay, although he has just had a knock, so his have crept back down again. Even some of the ones we signed in the summer like Dimitru and Hamilton are still improving. So there are plenty of promising signs, but we're a little bit inconsistent at the moment, and that's what we've got to resolve. So we're heavy favourites to win this game. I'm not sure why, because Southampton are a very good side, and we're of course missing Palmer, Brown, Villalba and Campbell, who would have been one of the deputies. So it's going to be a difficult one. Fairly even record between the two. Obviously most of their games in this career will have been in the Premier League, and Turf Moor again nearly sold out. We seem to have got the fans back on board. So I'm going to go and pick the line up to face Scott Parker's side, and we'll be back in a moment with a team to play Southampton. So here we go then. The morale's pretty good. We've bounced back from that Forest defeat, although there's still some remnants of it there. But that Bristol City win really did help us. A couple of the lads have had international duty, that's helped them out. Although Rob Simpson's a bit tired now. A couple of others just coming back from knocks who are on the bench. And of course, as we mentioned, Sterling, Villalba and Palmer Brown all missing out from the squad today. Fingers crossed though, they will all be back for Wigan on Tuesday night. That is yet to be seen though, and we've got a big game at Birmingham after that, so we might have to take a gamble there. But the 11 we've gone for today is Summerskill in goal, Furlong and Cobalt the fullbacks. Cobalt just coming back to fitness now, not really found his best form yet though. Coleman alongside Simpson at centre half has been deputising for the last month or so. Probably not formed the best partnership in the world yet. We've got Higgins and Edmonds on the wings with Monchu and Orellana in the middle, and then Manu Garcia in for Villalba behind Balogun up front, who we are relying heavily on for goals today. Hat-trick last time out, hopefully 1 or 2 more today, maybe even another one. I mean, he is the superstar, he is the man we're reliant on. He's such a good player, and my biggest fear is, will a Premier League club take a punt in January? If he takes us up and he stays here, we will stay up in the Premier League, and you can hold me to that. But if he goes at any point, we'll either not get promoted, or possibly we'll end up relegated back to the Championship again. So we are very desperate to keep him here. He's got that big new deal, of course, from the summer. That happened in a live stream a few days back. And we've just got to hope it works out for us. So into the game we go. This is the formation and tactic we've picked. Let me know what you think in the comments. Lots of youngsters on the bench if we need them. And Damari Gray's finally fit there too, so he can come on for the wingers who have been in average form. But in we go. This is going to be a big one. Well, there are some surprises at Southampton here. And there's a couple of names that are familiar. I mean, Jack Butland in goal, obviously well known. Now, who remembers from last season this guy, Shrieky? He was part of a twin partnership for Israel that nearly cost me my island relegation. Obviously, we got to resign from that job. If he and his twin had got another one, it may well have been a sacking. What a player he is, though. I mean, they've got him on 20 grand a week. That's an incredible deal. What I would give to have had him as my number 10 instead of Villalba. I mean, they got him for 8.25. That's incredible work. So they still haven't lost much on the recruitment front. At centre-half, they've got Hoy. Now, did we have him at Charlton? We did. He never played a game for us. I remembered the name from somewhere, though. So a good side, this Southampton team, and I can see why they're up there. My hope is, with Shrieky wanted, in January he'll be signed by a Premier League team, or even one of the ones internationally. That would certainly help us next season. But as it stands, we've got to face him today, and that's going to make it very tough. So I'm going to ask the lads to pick up where they left off against Bristol City. But of course, that was a long 2 weeks ago before the internationals. So into the first half we go here. Just a few empty seats at Turf Moor. Can we please the Burnley fans and get a good result? Early on, it's Southampton with a throw at right back. Shrieky the danger man picking it up. No idea if I'm pronouncing it right, and apologies if I'm not. But Hoy at the back, they're keeping it well. No real rush to get it forward, and they go long but straight to Furlong. Now don't lose the ball there. He doesn't. He finds Simpson. Back to Furlong again. I don't like the way we're trying to play out here. All the way back to the keeper, and we've got to find the right pass here or we get into immediate trouble. Short to Coleman. Long over the top. Balogun can't get there. He's headed away as far as Perez, who surges at the Burnley defence. Beats one, goes for the shot. It is miles wide. A bit of a tiddler towards the corner flag. But a warning sign early on, and with 7 gone, it's 0-0. But we're back with a Balogun corner into Simpson. Down for Monchu, off the line by Rod Coleman. It deflects and bobbles all over the place. And the centre-half with the predatory instincts. Rod Coleman scores again. Finishing rating of 4, composure of 8. It does not matter when it's instinctive. Didn't have time to think, just swung a leg at it. And he belts it in from 2 or 3 yards. 15 gone, Burnley lead 1-0. And my mood has just been affected by an injury. Jamie Higgins coming off. As we mentioned just 5 or 6 minutes ago, the top assist maker in the league. Potential thigh injury. I mean, we've got to hope it's a bruise or a strain, because if it's a tear, then that's going to be a couple of months. So the youngster Jack Vaughan's on the bench, but I'm going to play it safe. Damari Gray will come on for now. Bit of experience out there. I mean, whether he can play 75 without getting injured's another matter. But we have to try and win these clashes early on. It means if we do get well clear, we can then play the youngsters later in the season. Is Edmonds on the left wing as we've played out from the back again, successfully as well as Edmonds beats the winger. Into Manu Garcia, finds Balogun. Good tackle and hack clear by Southampton, and Skinner holds it up well up front. They've got 2 or 3 in support, and they're kind of turning this into a counter-attack here. Out to Perez on the right. To the byline, tries to cut it back, finds Grassi. Back to Perez again, absolutely skins Cobble, into Skinner. Oh, I thought that was in. It just went over the bar, and there's still no shot on target for the visitors. But there have been a couple of big scares in this first quarter here. Half an hour gone, it remains 1-0, but we're living quite dangerously as Southampton have another free kick. Carles Perez to take it, goes for the shot. Oh, it's great. It's absolutely brilliant. Summerskill saw it late, didn't quite get there. To be fair to him, it was on the wall side, but it's into the corner and it's 1-1. You can't say it's not deserved, but Watford not playing yet, so they stay a point behind. And Millwall losing 2-0 at Brentford. So there are positives there. And we've got a free kick on the left. Can we get the lead back? Just before the break, off the post by Simpson. Free header, and then it landed at Garcia's feet. He sort of slid in and it just went into the keeper's arms. He smothered it up and it's 1-1 at the break. And Southampton score from their only shot on target. John Underwood want me to tell the lads it's disappointing. I'll do exactly that. Damari Gray looking apprehensive. That's a bit of a worry from one of our most experienced pros. And to be honest, there's a few that haven't really performed today. But 10 minutes gone in the second. We're still on level terms. It's certainly not a disaster, especially with Millwall's result down there. I'd imagine Palace will be the closest challengers, so we can't get too excited about it. But we've now got to 20 minutes to go, and we've not seen anything yet in this second half. Glenn Stevens is going to come on for Garcia, who's had a really poor game. I mean, I'm actually tempted to take Damari Gray off again. He's come off the bench and he's done absolutely nothing. So do you know what? I'm going to give it 5 more. And then I'm going to bring on the youngster Leon Lowry. He's made such a difference off the bench so many times this season. I know Jack Vaughan's there as well. He's more natural in that position. And Damari Gray's probably going to throw a tantrum after this. But he's not fully fit. He's not played well. And now he's looking nervous. So on comes Leon Lowry. Inside forward on attack. We are going all out to win this. Let's see if we can nick a winner against the Saints. Goal kick for Southampton. 7 minutes left on the clock. And we're seeing the first highlight of the second half, I believe. Out to Roberts, the left back, and the visitors arguably looking the more likely here. Furlong closing down, doesn't get there, and it's into Shrieky, but a poor touch gives it to Orellana. Back to Furlong, can we spray a counter? Leon Lowry, the substitute. Cutting in from the right, finds Monchu. Monchu wide again, there's no one out there, is there? Balogun peels out, brings it down well to Lowry. Lowry back inside to Orellana, bound to Balogun, oh, he's put it wide. He's normally so reliable there. Sunday Balogun, first time, puts it miles wide of the post. I really thought he was going to nick it. And into the last minute, I paused it because Cobalt's picked up a knock, but there's nothing I can do. 4 minutes of stoppage time are up. It's Burnley 1, Southampton 1. Bit of an anti-climax in the second half. An injury to Higgins and Cobalt, plenty of signs for concern. I'm going to feel the wrath of Damari Gray in a minute as well, so I'm hoping that won't be too bad. But we're going to tell the lads we're disappointed. Try and get them back on board. We've just lost that flow. And 2 away games in a row to come this week. And they're in quick succession, so those injuries could be crucial. There we go then. The honours are even at Turf Moor. Again, no means a disaster. In fact, I think we've drawn every game on camera this year, haven't we? Watford and then Charlton in this one. All against sides up there, of course, so no real complaints. But these are the two we've got to look at. Jamie Higgins, 3 to 4 weeks for a strained hamstring. I mean, it could have been worse, I guess is the thing there. But Dujon Sterling now needs to be fit for midweek. He's the natural backup in that position. Elias Cobort, what's he got? 1 to 2 days, that's fine. So midweek, we might have to play a different left back. But after that, we'll be back to normal. We'll deal with a press conference off camera. And we'll review the championship table in a second too. But let's just skip ahead past that Watford-Luton game and see if Watford are able to climb back above us again. I have my reward. Years of supporting Luton loyally through the conference years, away from home at Kenilworth Road, and then through the leagues on the way back up have paid dividends. Luton have held Watford, their rivals, on their return to the championship. Really good work. Watford, don't forget, came down from the Premier League last year, just returning to this level, and Luton have done a fantastic job there. Helps them in their race to avoid relegation, something we did in our beta save earlier this season, of course, and we stay top on goal difference. 5 points clear of Palace, who won, and of course Millwall, who got beat on the road today. But overall, that's a pretty decent outcome this episode. We have got a tricky run coming up, as we mentioned, a couple of big away games this month, and then a sea of home games throughout December, as well as Palace away and Luton away. So hopefully Luton will be nice to us. I think we might come back for that Palace game, you know, that's a big one there. We've also got Watford mid-January, there's a few to consider, but the championship table looks good at the moment. Sunday Balogun's still the top scorer, though he missed that gilt-edged chance today. Of all the times to miss one, it's today. Jamie Higgins continues to be camera shy, this time picking up a knock. And Damari Gray as a sub. I haven't really seen any stick for it yet, which is a good thing. I just checked that message, it was nothing to do with that either. So overall, I think we can be pretty pleased with that episode. I know a draw isn't a perfect result, but we're staying consistent. We've only lost that one against Forest recently. And if we can keep that going, wins and draws will be enough. Over the season, it's just about not losing too many. If we can do that, we'll be right up there. So the promotion race remains on. I think we're going to come back on Boxing Day. We'll do a Christmas special. It will be Crystal Palace away from home. As it stands, it's currently first v third. And if we can keep this gap, that will be an absolutely intense game. 5 points between us at the moment, and it could close the gap in the automatic promotion race. That is the key to us. I don't really care about winning a title. Trophies are lovely in the head coach. Of course, it's the main goal. But getting promoted is going to be so crucial for our career. So let's not worry about that. We'll be back for this Palace game. If Forest are still up there, we might make it a double header, or we might have plenty to talk about off the pitch. But if you are looking forward to that, and you did enjoy this episode against Southampton, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It makes such a difference to the channel, and I really can't thank you enough for your support. The last couple of weeks with the live streams, the new series on Sunday, they've all been fantastically supported. I can't thank you enough. I'm so appreciative. But we'll be back for that Palace one. It's going to be intense. Let me know what you think. How close is it going to be when we come up against each other? Are Palace going to have caught us and made it a 3-horse race? Is it going to be that classic championship season where one misses out and then loses in the playoffs? And are we going to be that team? The good thing is we're up there. We were expected by the media to be 6th, and we're right up there in the race for the top 2. So no complaints so far, and I'll take winning the league on goal difference any day. To be honest, I'll take finishing 2nd on goal difference any day at the moment. But hopefully you'll come and join me again for that one. If you don't want to miss it, please subscribe down below and turn the notifications on. You'll get alerts as all the new content releases on the channel. We've got FM20 content every day from this series and our Dorking Wanderers one. And tomorrow in the Dorking Wanderers save, I don't often say this, but it's probably the most defining episode of the series. What happens tomorrow will probably shape the next 3 or 4 years. It's such a big one, and I really hope you can come and join me. Please do give it a try. It's the perfect time to pick it up. We're just finding some new heroes and we're building a new team, and it's going to be a really important episode. Thank you again to everyone who continues to support the 2 new Sunday series, the FM20 network career between myself and a co-host, and a stadium review series with myself and a mate, where we're sort of filling the void of no football. We were trying to do the 92 before, we're trying to fill that void by talking about all the trivial things we would on the train on the way there. So talking about the grounds we've visited and our experiences with them. So if you're missing football just as much, then come along and let us know what you think. But thank you very much for your continued support of the channel. I really do appreciate it greatly. And hopefully I'll see you next time for this massive top of the table clash as Crystal Palace face our Burnley side in what could be an early promotion decider.